Overall I still really like this ban list, though I would expect some nerfs to the meta skills, because that's the main reason why these decks are so good anyways.
It has finally come, the long-awaited skill rebalancing. Some of the skills in this current meta are extremely busted, so I do expect some of them to be nerfed. In particular, the Rose Dragon skill, the Mechlord skill, and the Favorite Hero skill. One of the easiest ways to limit the skills is to limit the times you can use them per duel. Making all of them once per duel goes a long way to fixing problems of the skill. So, without further ado, let's just have a look. I have absolutely no idea about the skill balancing. Okay, so swing into action, Pendulum Summon is getting a buff. Okay. Unstoppable Train. Okay, that's perfectly fine. No one's playing trains anyway. Spell of Roses. Great. We are getting a nerf for Spell of Roses. Mechlord Refinement. Yes, we need a nerf. Oh no, we don't have a nerf for heroes. That means that they can still play their deck with probably one Liquid Soldier because it's limited to 2. So hero decks will probably still play triple Neos Fusion, 1 Brave Neos, and 1 Liquid Soldier. So that's how I imagine the deck will be played. So I imagine hero decks will still be really good after the ban list. Having only 1 Liquid Soldier is definitely a nerf, but it's still super consistent. They still have searchers from Stratos, Rhoda, or they can just discard the Neos. The Liquid Soldier limit will limit the consistency of them drawing 2 every turn, and they can only do it once per duel if they're only playing a single copy. But because the skill isn't nerfed, so they can still use it 3 times per duel. Okay, so let's have a look. 4 skill updates. The first one, at the beginning of the duel, at Pendulum Stones revealed. Yeah, that's the same. The follow effect can be used once per turn if you have 1 face-up Pendulum monster in extra deck. Select 1 monster you control in the extra monster zone and move it to the main monster zone in the same column. Oh, so it's freeing up zones. Not bad. That's not bad. That will be quite useful for a lot of Pendulum decks because of the new EMZ restriction. It's kind of a necessary buff for the skill in the Link era when they only have a single EMZ for them to summon their monsters from. Yep, that's pretty good. Yeah, okay. Unstoppable Chain. During this turn, you can normal summon set 1800 or higher attack. Okay. This skill you can be used twice per duel. What's the difference? What's the difference? Okay, that's the same. Get at least 10 Earth monsters. Oh, so you can play other cards now. So it's now at least 10 Earth Machine type monsters. So before you're not allowed to play other monsters, but now you can, as long as you have at least 10 Earth Machine monsters. And they don't have to be level 4 or 10. They just need to be over 1800 attack. So you can play other cards like DD Crow. I'm kind of interested on how people will build the deck around the skill. I imagine people will come up with something very interesting. Okay, so, next skill. Spell of Roses. Send a Rose Dragon monster. Which of the skill can only be used if you begin the duel with a deck that contains a total of 10 Junior or Rose Dragon monsters. This skill will be once per duel. Yes! Yes! Exactly what it should be. That's exactly how I want it to be nerfed. Once per duel. That is like the best way that could possibly nerf the skill. They did not overdo it. That is wonderful. Because Konami usually nerfs this skill way too hard. But this is actually an extremely reasonable nerf, and one that I am very much expecting. Now, Rose Dragons will have a lot less powerful follow-up, because Rock's Rose is also limited to 2, that combined with this skill nerf will have an impact on the consistency of the deck. Okay, so Mechlord Refinement. The effect of this skill will change based on which deck, which at least half of Mechlord cards and not containing monsters and Mechlord monsters. Yeah, it's the same. The skill advantage is once per duel. It's once per duel! Oh wow, that's great. So both Spell of Roses and Mechlord Refinement are now once per duel. That's exactly how I wanted the skills to be nerfed. And they absolutely did not overdo it. So let me explain. So for Mechlord decks, they usually would search the Mechlord Assembly spell during their first turn, which will give them their Obligato and set up their first turn by making an Xyz. And during their second turn, they would pitch whatever Mechlord card they have in their hand, and they would search the Triskelion, usually, because that card is not searchable from Dirgiant X. So you have to either get it from the skill or get it from the Mechlord Assembly. So now it's a lot less consistent for them to summon their Triskelion in turn 3. Okay, so that's the end, yeah. Okay, so overall I'm pretty happy on how the skills were nerfed. Spell of Roses got a once per duel, and Mechlord Refinement also got a once per duel. That is exactly how I wanted it to be nerfed, and I think Konami did a really good job of not nerfing it too hard and making them absolutely unplayable. Both of the skills can still search their original cards, and their restrictions are still the same, but they are now once per duel. But one thing I'm a little bit worried about is Favorite Duel. It's still untouched, but we do have a limitation on a Liquid Soldier, so at least the deck isn't getting too much card advantage. And Galaxy Eyes is untouched. I feel like Galaxy Eyes compared to these other decks, like Rose Dragons and Mechlords and Heroes, it's comparatively much more fragile. So if it gets hit by a single Book of Moon or a DD Crow, it disrupts their game plan so hard that they basically immediately lose. So I'm kind of fine of them not nerfing the Galaxy Eye skill. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the skill changes. And if you liked the video, press the like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.